joined by a couple of teammates, old teammates, old friends here.
Old guys.
Steve Tasker and Thurman Thomas joining us on set. Thurman, so excited to have you in the studio with us after a wonderful Monday night game against the Tennessee Titans. I know we're starting to look forward to the Week 3 game against the Miami Dolphins, but we've got to relive this Titans game with you. I mean, what were your thoughts from the beginning? It was tied up there for a second, and then they just plowed
first of
Tennessee.
all, it's just glad to get Tennessee on our turf for once in a while. You know, the last couple of times we played up there.
Must make a difference.
Right, it does make a difference. With this team, playing against Tennessee, obviously, me personally, always think about stopping Derrick Henry first. I've really never been a Ryan Tannehill fan. He's never really scared me. Even when he played with the Miami Dolphins, he's not a guy that's going to drop back 50 times and have an opportunity. It's just no way it's going to happen, especially the way our defense has been playing. But it's an impressive victory, 7-7. And then all of a sudden, the game is over. People are leaving at the third quarter. I'm ashamed to say that I did, but I had good reason to do that. But the game was over. You know,
Josh left in the third quarter.
Once they took Josh out, right? I figured, I'm good to go anyway too.
Josh was showering up halfway through the fourth quarter. I'll say this though: you were there early, and Maddie and I have this thing where because we do post game live,
right?
And we didn't do it this week, but we didn't want to break our mojo, right? So I'm sitting there. Bruce does his thing, which he hit a home run. It's great.
Oh gosh.
Then Jim did his thing. He did the chant, and then they handed the mic to Marv, and nobody realized he was there until they showed him on the scoreboard. The place absolutely lost its mind. The crowd lost its mind, and then I was sitting there, and I couldn't. I teared up.
I get
emotional. And Maddie said she couldn't look at me or she would have too. I got emotional yesterday. We played it as a highlight yesterday. I got emotional over it.
I was like, if I look at Tasker, I'm going to start crying now.
Yeah, I mean, look, 97. I mean, I'm starting to kind of feel it a little bit now. I mean, just to see him and Fran and everybody come back. And you talk about, people say that we're legends. That guy's a legend.
Oh, that guy's like... He's a national treasure.
Right, exactly. The guy got a street named after him in Chicago.
In Chicago?
In Chicago, right? Right by Wrigley Field. So it was so great to see his family here, and obviously Jim down there with Bruce. And you know what? I mean, when they announced his name, man, you felt the chill go through your body. It was loud.
You could see, and I'll say this too. We talked about it yesterday. You've been in hundreds of games in that stadium. Way before kickoff,
right?
Every seat was full. Nobody showed up late. I mean, you could look up at the corner. I couldn't find an empty seat in the entire place from where we were at in the radio booth. It was packed.
Yeah, it was packed, and I thought for a reason, just for a brief moment, that they probably would have a little problem because when I was out in the parking lot or whatever, people were like, I can't transfer any of my tickets.
Oh, the internet.
No. The internet, right? Yeah. So I'm thinking, it's going to be like, oh my God, it's going to be jammed, and nobody's going to be here. But I think everything went well because it was, like you said, it was a jam-packed stadium
so loud.
before the stadium even.
But
the game even begun.
They started. I think it was last year. They started opening the gates a half hour earlier than they used to. It used to be 90 minutes before kickoff.
Right.
Now it's 2 hours, and that's helped. But usually, I mean, even me, I'm like rolling in there, like like during the anthem,
right? Exactly.
And everybody was in there, man. And all of us that had been anticipating that game on Monday night, the opener against Tennessee, going what it was going to be like. And with the expectations attached to the team, and man, oh man, they did not disappoint.
They did not disappoint. It was great to see. I know at the end of the game there, myself and everybody were kind of worried about the injuries and how things would affect us or whatever. But I just think the excitement of being a Monday night game here, and then when I read something that the Bills haven't won a Monday night game since 1994.
Yeah.
Since the white
standing
Buffalo with a red helmet.
Yeah, we played Denver that game.
Was awful.
Yeah, it was awful.
It looked awful.
Yeah, but that was a long time. But to see it come back and, man, the way that we won this football game, it's you just can't say enough about how good this football team is.
2-0.
2-0.
2 really big victories.
And this is the
against
third
good
game of the
teams.
season. And people are already talking about me. This could be for the AFC Championship right here, AFC East.
Yeah, they're playing good.
They're playing good right now. But I think the factor going into this game is that first game that we played against the Rams, that defense needs to show up. They need to get into his face the entire time. Because obviously you've seen the comeback against Miami, against the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, hey, look, they got two of the top fastest guys in the National Football League. And with Tyreek Hill there and Jalen Waddle, I mean, that pass rush is going to be –
They're real.
They're going to be tested this week.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be tested this week, and obviously with the injuries. But I'm looking forward to it. I don't mind if it's a track meet, but I don't mind if it's 17-13 either, because I think throughout the course of the year, we're going to have to go through some games like that where Josh is not going to be on this game. You hope that he's on this game throughout the entire year. But some of those times, even back in the 90s, we were first couple of games, 30, 40 points. All of a sudden, we get into a 13-10 game. It's all like, oh, we got to buckle up a little bit more, you know? So, I mean, those games are going to come, but I just think the way both of these two teams and way Miami has retooled their offense, really kind of their entire roster with a rookie head coach who's believing his quarterback, believing his wide receivers. I'm excited.
I was on a radio station in Miami this morning and talking, and they asked me about what kind of difference it can make when a head coach comes in who believes in his quarterback. He says, "You're my guy," and stuff. And I said, every player's different.
Yeah.
Some players thrive on just the opposite. They want their head coach to challenge them.
Right.
They like you don't think I can, that kind of thing, right? They chip on their shoulder. But other guys, they do need to have their shoulders rubbed, and
absolutely,
and be coached and have somebody on their side kind of thing, right, when they're in it. No doubt, though, in the first couple of weeks, Mike McDaniel has struck a really nice chord with Tua, and they seem to have a relationship that is really good for Tua's mindset.
Yeah, he does.
And it's made a difference.
It definitely has made a difference because, there was – since he's been in the league, there's been question marks about him. Can he throw the
loud
deep ball?
question marks.
Loud question marks about a different quarterback coming in or whatever. So, and even some of the throws that he had on Sunday, when you're throwing to Tyreek Hill, they were still kind of underthrown.
Well, you can't wait too long.
You can't wait too long to throw it because he might outrun it.
He'll outrun an arm, yeah.
But like you said, when you have that confidence in your coach, and he's calling these deep routes. He's doing it all. He believes in his quarterback. And if you have that belief in your quarterback, you're going to call plays that's going to make him be a successful quarterback. And obviously the first couple of games, I think he just got named AFC Player of the Week.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so, you don't think that's a big deal to him? That's a huge deal to him, for him and his the team, the head coach. It's huge. And it's the biggest game of the year already at week 3, and they're playing at home. Yeah, they're going to be fired up.
Yeah.
No doubt. We're going to have to bring our best game.
Yeah. Who do you think deserves the most credit? Do you think it's Mike McDaniel right now? Do you think it's Tua Tagovailoa? Or do you think it's Tyreek Hill for the way that this Dolphins team has came out of the gate here in the first 2 weeks?
You know what? You can pick either one of them. You can pick either one of them. I think you can pick either one of them. But I think if you had to, I would probably go with the head coach, McDaniels. I think you go with him. I think he's made a difference. I think when they hired him, he's made a difference throughout their entire OTAs, training camp, and obviously the first couple of games. Because I think when he got hired, a lot of people didn't know.
Right.
I didn't really know anything about him, Right. Well, he came from the Rams?
From 49ers.
The 49ers, and we know what type of offense they can run or whatever, but I didn't know too much about him, and obviously being the head coach, named the head coach is a big deal to him, and he's put his stamp on the first couple of games. I never would have thought that they came back and beat the Ravens like they did. It was like a shocker.
I was sitting there. Game. They were down 21. It was 35-14 right at the start of the fourth quarter. But they were going in, So it's one of those things where they got that for like the first 3 plays. One of them was a touchdown in the fourth quarter. But the two busted coverages that led to Tyreek touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's inexcusable.
You won't see that with us, I can guarantee you.
Right. You would like to think, but, never say never. But that's what happened.
Yeah.
And as tough as it is, nobody's going to run with Tyreek, but guys know how to stay behind him. I mean, they just get a head start and they stay out there. These guys didn't do that. There was a miscommunication. So, but, hey, dude was smart enough to throw it out there, right? I mean, I don't know if you can leave him uncovered, the guy never sees it. But it was an amazing last part of that game. And I'll say this, too. Lamar Jackson carved him up, too. He had 318 yards and 3 touchdowns throwing.
Yeah, he did.
He carved him up. So it'll be interesting to see which offense can get off to a better start. You'd like to think the Bills' defense is a different animal than it has been in the past.
Yeah.
And I told Maddie, and see what you think. Thus far, 2 weeks into the season, they've already had more splash plays than they had all of last season. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's
7
huge.
takeaways.
Yeah, 7 takeaways. How many did we have last year?
9 sacks.
Yeah, 9 sacks. Yeah, they were off to a great start.
Yeah.
But, you're on the road again. Not the defending Super Bowl champions, but you're down in the heat.
Right.
September Miami Heat.
Yeah, it's the Miami Heat, and their fans are going to be fired up because they haven't been in this situation in a number of years. And Josh is 7-1 against them?
Yeah, 7-1.
7-1. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So they have been the dominant team, the Buffalo Bills have in the past 8 games. And hey, look, the way this offense is going, the way this defense is playing, I expect us to be 3-0. I'm sorry to sit up here and say whatever, but that's just the way I feel about this football team, especially if that pass rush is really doing what it's supposed to be doing. And how about, you talk about Tremaine Edmonds so far this year.
So happy with what I've seen.
So happy for what I see from him. He's doing an outstanding job. And I think for us, it's going to have to be, the key is going to be for the last couple of years how healthy we stay on this entire football team. And hopefully Gabe Davis is coming back. See what Josh did when Gabe Davis wasn't in there, to go to his receivers like that. Yeah.
Even Jay Kumaro, who stepped up.
I know exactly. I'm like, oh my God. That just tells you the relationship, and I said it last week about that relationship that they have in that locker room is real.
Yeah, it really is. The injury list is bad, and I hesitate to talk about it because you and I have a different perspective as players because we tend to that guy will be all right. That guy will be fine. Hey, he'll be all right. Just shoot it up and play kind of thing, right? You don't want to, and I don't, it's the wrong atmosphere, maybe the wrong tone to take as a radio announcer, but we walked off the field and it's like, wow, it was bad. But the one who really worried wasn't Dane Jackson because he was up and he was moving around even on the field.
Right.
I didn't think that was going to be so bad. Milano didn't even know he got hurt.
Nope.
Micah Hyde, the stinger, all those things on kind of innocuous hits. You think, okay, that they're all going to bounce back. The one that worries me is Jordan Phillips. And I know it's not a serious injury. It's not something. It's a pulled muscle. Okay, he's going to be fine. And he went down like he'd been shot. And you're laughing because every player I've spoken to about that, they start laughing because they've been there. And you can't stay upright when you're running. He was moving.
He was trying to get
moving, and he starts to trying to get in front of Matt Milano, and boing, and it just goes, and he hits the ground.
Yeah,
that's the one that bothers me because that guy has gotten off to a fantastic start. They need guys like him.
He's
a big contributor, and they're going to miss him as much as anybody on the list. If indeed all these guys or none of them could play, he's the one you'd miss.
Do we even know if Ed Oliver going to play?
We do not, or Settle.
Or Settle, but I agree with you.
Or Dane Jackson or any of them. We don't know any of them.
I agree with you. This right here will hurt us.
Yes.
The years that he was here, he was awesome. And
he was off to a fantastic start.
2 years off to go to Arizona and come back here and still
fits in this defense.
He still made his presence felt. After missing 2 years, the first game and this game.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
And people, I was trying to yell through the window and tell him to, calm down a little bit, because he's doing this the entire game to try to get the crowd going. I'm like, he's just wasting energy
know,
right
man.
there.
I'm
like,
tired watching.
Right, yeah. Just do something like this. He's using his whole body to get the
and
crowd
he was off
going.
the sideline. They had to walk all the way back
to the huddle. Right, exactly.
Yeah,
so
those, everybody's got a step counter. Those steps count.
those steps count.
You got to stay in the middle of the field and wave them up, so you don't have to walk back and
Yeah,
forth. It's
but
crazy.
I do believe that. Yeah, he has to. I hope he plays, because he is a key, because he has to get that rush right up the middle on tour.
Yeah, that's the injury that really worries
Leslie
me.
Frazier said, of course we're happy with Von Miller being a part of the Buffalo Bills, but we are equally as pleased with Jordan Phillips and what he has been able to do in the first 2 weeks. The defense has allowed just 66 rushing yards. They average 66 rushing yards is what they give up a game in the first 2 games, which is such a tiny, tiny number. And the defensive line has struggled in years past with the run, and they limit Derrick Henry to just averaging 1.9 yards per carry, which is crazy. He had only 25 rushing yards on 13 attempts against the Buffalo Bills. So you being a former running back, how impressed have you been with the run defense and what the front four has been able to do?
Well, I think even though when you look at the Buffalo Bills defense and you see Von Miller, you obviously think of sacks.
Yeah.
But I think with his presence, he causes a lot of commotion at the line of scrimmage, and that frees up other guys. I've been impressed. I know in this league it's all about sacks and getting to the quarterback, but when you can limit Derrick Henry with 25 yards rushing, it's a run, it's a pass attack defense first, but you have to be able to stop the run. You have to be able to stop the run. There's no way about it, because teams are going to try to run the football these days. Some do, some don't. But I think in our division, we got some nice running backs in the division. It's important that you're good on all phases of the game. It's pass defense, rush defense, interception, sacks, or whatever. And we're hitting on all cylinders right now. And
let me ask you this: we are hitting on all cylinders, and the expectations were high. And even in the preseason, Josh comes in 3 for 3, touchdown.
One series.
You get to LA,
Sit down.
LA, and you roll. You get 7 sacks, just thumping people.
Yeah.
But we got like 4 months left.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's hard
You gotta
to
be
play
hot at
at
the right
that
time.
level for 4 months. And I don't care if they have a swoon, and I don't care if they even squeak into the playoffs. You want to be, if they can play their best, which is like what it seems like that's what we're seeing now, and maybe even better by the end of the season when they start finding out about it. That's when you want to be playing your best. They were playing that way at the end of last season. It didn't ultimately mean getting to the Super Bowl, but man, oh man, they were playing, and they were as healthy as any team in the league at the end of the regular season last year. What does playing this well, this early, how tough does it make it later in the year for us?
It does make it. I think it does make it a little bit tougher, especially, I want to say, like, for me, what is it going to be later in the year? What is our running game going to look like? Is James Cook going to step up?
We haven't seen much from Dawson Knox even.
Dawson Knox, another. He didn't have a catch in the first game, right? Or one.
He had one.
Yeah. So
1 for
we
5
haven't even
yards.
seen really, like, only thing we've really saw is Steph Diggs, him and Josh.
Right.
That's been the only thing that we kind of saw the first couple of games. Yeah, Gabe got the first touchdown in L.A. or whatever, but he missed this game. It's been the Allen Diggs show the first couple of games.
Yeah.
I think there's still room for this team to get better, and that's kind of.
It sounds crazy. But
It sounds
you're
crazy.
Right.
They
I'll
used
say
a player
this,
like
though,
Reggie
too.
Gilliam
Yeah.
against the Titans.
Jake
scores a touchdown.
and Reggie Gilliam were the secret weapons this week.
Who
are you joking?
put money down on Reggie Gilliam to score a touchdown?
There's guys on, they did.
Oh, they
It was
did?
plus 7,000. It was plus 7,000 for his first NFL TD, and
Oh,
all his
my
buddies, the
God.
whole crew put in on
Right,
him.
yeah.
They
He
had
got a-
video when he got it. It was crazy.
Oh my gosh.
So stuff like that happens. Here's what my thoughts about it. Yes, it is very difficult to go 4 months and play at the level they're playing and play your absolute best. But if they are able to go into health, the health of the team is really the only thing that matters, because you and I know. Put your words to this. When you've been there for 3 years, 2020, 2021, and now 2022, and 2019 as well. You're going to the playoff game. They've been there for 3 full seasons, and now this one. you get to the point where let's get to the playoff. Let's get to the playoffs again. Let's go. I want to make amends for 13 seconds. I want to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I want a shot at those guys. But we got like 5 games left in the regular season, right? And you're getting there. What's it mean? All right, say you get healthy at the end of the season. All right, so you finally in. Explain the attitude difference in the locker room when it's like, okay, here we are. It's playoffs. It's easy to play your best when you've been waiting on it for so long.
Yeah. You get there at that time.
The whole building turns on.
Yeah, the whole building. You can tell when you walk in. It's a whole different vibe. Yeah. Whole different vibe from all the players. Like, okay, it's time to turn it up another level. Guys will getting extra reps.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter how good you've been playing. We're going to play better.
We got to play better. Yeah. Von Miller's like, you know what? I got 2 sacks the first game. Now I need 3. Mm-hmm. I need 4. You know, Phillips, all these guys. I need Jordan Poirier. I need a couple of more interceptions. All the guys, when it comes to that point, is like, we got to turn it up. We got to turn it up. No matter what we did early in the season or whatever, this is time for it to begin right here, right now. And, hey, look, I've said this before, Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott, they deserve keys to the city for what they have done around here. You look at these 2 guys and the players that they have brought in, all these players have fit right in. This past year, after training camp this year, had to be the toughest decision to let guys go.
Yeah. Because
they brought in a bunch of great group of guys that know the system, that play the system well throughout the entire preseason, and they had to let them go. Mm-hmm. And when you have that opportunity, and when you have those type of players and those 2 guys running things, along with Leslie Frazier, you have to succeed. And these guys want to succeed. And it's not only just for themselves, it's for Bills Mafia. It's for Bills fans all over the world. They're ready. I know it's only week 3 that we're going into, but it's a long season.
It's long.
It's a long season.
It's 4 more months.
It's 4 more months. But I think for us, sure there may be some times where we might be a little down or whatever, but I don't think it's going to last long. I don't think it's going to last long. I think these guys know even if we lose a game, Monday's going to be the most important day. Have Tuesday off, back to work Wednesday.
I'll say this too, and we spoke about this. Teams like this one, and there's not that many of them around, where you got a Von Miller on one side and a Josh on the other and Steph Diggs, and you got these guys. Where when you go through those low spots, the really great ones, that's when they kind of flex and they say, we ain't playing that good.
Right.
Follow me. You gotta watch me.
Yeah.
You play like I play.
Yeah.
When that one great player, like Josh has done it for this team, when that one great player says, guys, this ain't good enough. You come in here, join me. Let's go.
Yeah.
Do what I do.
Yeah.
And that great players like that are the guys who get you through those yawners where you yawned your way through the week and you show up and the other team's like this is their Super Bowl.
Right.
And you got to find a way, right? When those guys are really jacked up. Mm-hmm. Von Miller's the kind of guy, and Josh has become that kind of guy. Steph is that kind of guy where they can say, all right, now it's all right. We ain't losing this.
Right, and the Bills are going to.
We know they're 3-10, but they're not winning.
They ain't winning this game. They go 4-10.
Exactly. Right.
That's what I was going to say. The Bills are going to face a lot of teams this year who we don't know who the teams are going to be, but there's going to be some on their schedule that aren't playing as well and are going to say we have nothing to lose against the best team in the NFL.
Chicago,
so we're gonna throw the kitchen sink at the Bills and see what they do. And the Bills have to remain steadfast through it all and trust what they have and their antics and their coordinators and Josh Allen to be able to get through it, because you're gonna face some teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars of last year. That's game.
Right.
Oh,
the one game.
Yeah.
The one game that cost us a home field advantage.
So
and to get off. It happened to us a couple of times.
Sure.
I think at the end of the season, maybe playing the Colts or somebody who didn't have nothing to lose.
Right. We dropped a game. We got a game in, I think, in 19. We were like 14-2 or 14-1, and drop a game to the Washington Redskins like 2 years before they won the Super. You know what I mean? When they were just kind of getting it together. Mm-hmm. Those kind of games. Yeah. So they're going to be out there, and it's a challenge, but it's a very different kind of challenge. And you don't build your team to conquer those challenges.
Right.
You build your team to to win the big one against a really good team, it's hard to build a team that will prepare well against an inferior opponent.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
sometimes they go hand in hand, but not always.
Yeah, I'm glad on this side with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
We are glad too. All right, Thurman, thank you so much for taking the time to be on set with us. Relive this past week's win and look ahead to week 3 against the Miami Dolphins.